up, beautiful people, and welcome to another great show of Beyond the Diploma with me as your host, Lady E. Here, we talk about life beyond graduation, spirituality, life in your 20s, figuring out yourself, your identity, a place where I can hear myself talk, but others can talk as well, and I listen. Yes. So today, of course, we have another great guest. Today's guest is from Charlotte, North Carolina, and she has received her bachelor's in journalism and mass communications with a concentration in PR from, of course, the best HBCU, North Carolina A&T State University. She then received her master's in public relations and corporate communications from New York University. She has entered at VH1, Comedy Central, and BET. Yes, she is now the founder of Black Girls in Media, where she bridges the gap between minority women in the media industry. And of course, she was honored as a Power 100 Media Maven by Ebony Magazine. So let's please give a warm welcome to Tasha.
Hi, I'm so excited.
Yes,
Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm glad you are here. I'm loving the fits. I'm loving the
Yay.
A&T sweater.
Thank you.
I would have worn mine as well, but that's okay. That's
Yes.
okay.
I was like, when in Rome.
Yes, I love that.
Yes.
Actually, I think I cannot think of the clothing website or brand, but they just dropped sweatshirts of like all the halls. They had Crosby Hall, they had Craig
That's
Hall. So I was like, I need
cute.
to make sure I get mine before Jiho. Were you at Jiho this past year?
This past year, I was.
This one? Okay.
Last minute, yes.
Yeah.
And a brand actually sent me this too.
Wait, was it Hall Pass?
No, this
okay.
is HBCU graduates, I
Okay.
believe. If I'm wrong, I'll tag them in my stories.
Yes,
So
yes,
stay
yes.
tuned. Yes.
Stay tuned for that. But yes, thank you so much for coming. I'm happy
Yes,
to
thanks for
get
having
into
me.
this conversation and get to know you a bit more. So first, I want to understand, well, not understand, but let's get into your early college career. So you went to school for mass communications. What motivated you to get into communications and journalism?
Well, I went into A&T undecided my first semester because I really didn't, just in high school, I was, I cheered, I was just living life. Like, so I wasn't really career focused when I went into college. And then my second semester, I was like, okay, like, let me get serious. I like to talk. I knew I wasn't good at math. So, I just kind of like, did, process of elimination. And
hmm
I was like, okay, communication sounds cool. And then so I went into communications and then I decided to concentrate in public relations because that seemed interesting at the time. And so yeah, that I majored in public relations.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
So, um, do you believe that your HBCU, the internships that you've had, well, no, let's keep it to just your HBCU. Do you believe A&T had prepared you for your career in the real world?
Yes, for sure. Because like I felt like I wasn't prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Once I graduated, I felt like I wasn't ready for the real world. So that's when I started applying to grad schools to
Mm-hmm.
kind of just learn more and stall, I guess. And then so I went to NYU. My like I graduated and
Mm-hmm.
then I took the first semester off just being here in Charlotte, like relaxing, and then I decided to go to grad school the spring semester. And when I went to NYU, I realized how prepared A&T made me, like even compared to my other classmates. A lot of classmates were from different countries and stuff like that. And, I just felt really knowledgeable when it came to my field.
Mm-hmm.
And NYU just, helped me learn even more, helped me broaden my horizons when it came to like cultures and just overall network
Mm-hmm.
too. But yeah, A&T definitely prepared me.
Did you have internships while you were at A&T?
I had one. I interned at like a local newspaper, the
Okay.
Carolina Peacemaker.
Nice. Shout out
Mhm.
to them. Yes.
Yes.
So let's dive into your other internships that you did with VH1, Comedy
Mhm.
Central, BET. How were those experiences for you, and how did that shape you into who you are now in your career?
Yeah, those definitely shaped me. It gave me, my first experiences, just really getting into the field. So, and it made me realize that I really loved entertainment because it was so fast paced. Like VH1, helping out at like the launch events and like the red carpets and stuff like that. I said, okay, I can get used to this. And then
Mm-hmm.
once I got into one building, it was easy to kind of just navigate and go into the next. In different departments because at BET I was like under programming.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw a lot of like how they chose what certain shows are aired and under like the director of BET and the president and learning how he operates. And then VH1 was like the communications department. So yeah, getting that hands-on experience is really what shaped my career.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So you definitely a believer in it's not just what you know, but who you know.
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I both though, because you can know a lot of people but not know nothing.
Right.
And so then it's useless. But
Yeah.
I definitely believe in, yeah, who you know, because I reached out to a black woman on LinkedIn who
Mm,
was like a VP at VH1. So she put in a good word for me to even
mm.
get those internships. So for sure, who you know, and that's why I started Black Girls in Media, because it's like people can really help you get your, first
Mhm.
opportunities, and you have to really show up and represent them well.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
So, after graduating from NYU, did you face any challenges after that? I know you said it was easy for you to go from building to building,
Mhm.
from this position to the next. But did you stay in New York? Did you end up coming back to Charlotte? What was your
Mhm.
life after that?
Ooh, girl, I so even, living in New York, I was by myself. All my family's here in Charlotte. So that was a struggle in itself. It just really like stretched me mentally. I learned a lot.
Mhm.
And then so once I graduated, I didn't have anything lined up.
Mhm.
So that's when I did come back to Charlotte to just, figure things out. And that's really when I started like working in the meantime. Like,
Mhm.
I might not have a job right now. I'm applying to jobs. It's hard to get that first opportunity because
Yeah.
people want experience.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to create my own experience. And that's when, I started doing PR for local Charlotte
Mm.
businesses and just really making a name for myself, and also simultaneously starting Black Girls in Media
Mhm.
to, broaden my network and to kind of see, if I'm the only one struggling to get a job, and just,
Mhm.
because none of my friends were in the media industry.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me start creating my own network.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can definitely agree with that. Like coming out of school, and I had a lot of friends that were in the communications field. They were Crosby kids,
Hmm.
and they would have internships, like really great internships, like all 4 years. And we come out of school, and it's like, oh, like
Yeah.
it's like a reality check, and it's the job market really sucks
Hmm.
actually, and it's hard, and especially um, media related jobs in Charlotte is completely different in Atlanta or New York or in
Right.
California.
Hmm.
So I can definitely agree with that. And I love how you touched on, even though you weren't in your wanted field, you brought your own table, you brought your own chair, and
Yeah.
you still, made it work. So snaps
Hmm.
for that. Snaps for
Thanks.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
to. You can't just sit around and wait. Got to do something in the meantime.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's touch on Black Girls in Media.
Okay.
So I kind of hear like how you started it, but let's dive sorry, Lord.
Hmm.
Let's dive a bit
Hmm.
more into that
Okay.
and how it has expanded.
Yes. So yeah, we're back in Charlotte, 2018. Just figuring out our way, doing internships, stuff like that. Or not doing internships, but starting our own businesses, getting clients, and wanting to just learn more, grow my network. So I started a group chat, and this is when Group Me was, just really popping. I was like in other groups, and I don't know how I came up with the name, but I just labeled a group in Group Me called Black Girls in Media, and I added a whole bunch of like girls that I networked with or like worked with in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And over time, yeah, everybody started adding each other, and internships were being given, jobs were being given, connections were being made, and it literally grew. I just saw it from like one member to 30 to 500, and I was just like, wow. And then,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, of course, like the women are really getting the benefits of this group, but then also they're wanting to meet in person. So
Mm-hmm.
I had, women in the group from all over. So I'm like, okay, I can't be everywhere at once. So let me start doing networking brunches for the
Mm-hmm.
members. So yeah, started 2018. I did a LA brunch. Shout out if you were there. The New York brunch, the DC brunch. Where else? And then of course the Charlotte. Charlotte was the first one. I literally have a video of, like, setting up for that event, and it was probably, like, maybe 15 people there.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was just, humble beginnings, but the purpose was still the same, to
Mhm.
create safe spaces and opportunity for Black women in the media space.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
When you first started, did you think it was going to expand to that capacity?
No, I really didn't. And I think that's like always the case when you're building something so organic. It's
Mhm.
just like it grows faster than you think. And then also, um, you have to learn as you go along. So I have these women kind of just like every day networking and kind of looking to me for next steps. Hey, when are we going to meet in person? So it became my purpose without me even knowing. And then I had to learn as I went along. Like I had
Mhm.
to learn how to create an actual business out of it. I had to learn how to grow a team, and God has just blessed me with people that have just wanted to be a part of it and like
Mhm.
help me in any type of way. Because I was getting overwhelmed. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like it's just
It's a
me. I
lot.
don't know how to manage
Yeah.
all this."
Mhm.
So, yeah, and I'm still learning, but yeah, it's been great, and 2 conferences later and, a network of almost 100,000 women. It's just
Yes.
really great.
I love that. I love
Thank
that.
you.
So I do see that you currently live in Charlotte? I see you travel a
Yeah.
lot. You be in California. So do you live like a double life? Are you in Montana?
Yes. Long story short, yes. But no, so after New York, I came back to Charlotte, was doing my thing here, and then I decided, like you said, I'm like, okay, I kind of want to go back to working for a company,
Mhm.
an entertainment company, and I'm not gonna get that here in Charlotte. So I was like, okay, where to next? And so I was like, okay, LA. And I started visiting my best friend at her place in LA a lot. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I think I want to move here. And so yeah, I went to LA and I was there 4 years. Great time. Actually 2 years, and the pandemic hit. I came back to Charlotte for a little because
Mhm.
everything stopped. And then I went back to LA. And so yeah, I was there for a while, and I just got back to Charlotte last year.
Mhm.
Is it, permanent? Who knows? But I'm
You be all
loving
over the
it. Yeah,
world.
cause now I realize, like, it's different now. I can travel whenever I need to be somewhere,
Mhm.
whether it's New York, LA. And then, just from a stability standpoint, now that I'm getting older, like, I love being home in Charlotte. I
Mhm.
like being closer to family. When I
Mhm.
was younger, it was like, I don't really
Yeah,
wanna
I'm
let
ready.
me do my
Mm-mm.
thing, let me
Yeah.
fly. But now it's just like, I don't mind it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. So, you mentioned that you were older. I don't think you're that much older. I'm pretty sure we're close in age. I mean, look at her beautiful face, duh. But
Thanks.
since I am 22, of course,
Mhm,
I love to hear from people that are older than me, just like about their 20s. What is some advice you would give to your 22-year-old self?
mhm,
Your journey. And we can even touch on just like individuality because I know,
mm,
especially like in this day and age of social media, everyone's doing
mhm.
something, everyone has something going on. So it can kind of feel like a race at a time, but just having to remind yourself, like, hey, like, there's no race. It's just,
Yeah.
me, myself, and I, and God. So I kind of just want to hear about, your journey in your 20s and stuff.
Wow, what I would tell my 22-year-old self, so myself last year. No, I'm kidding.
Wait, 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 wait,
No, I'm
wait,
kidding.
wait. She just bamboozled me.
No, I'm kidding. But no, I mean, yes, I think that it's just so important to embrace the process. Even now, like now that I'm in my 30s.
And that's
Um,
okay.
yes, no, now that I'm in my 30s, even still, it's just like being in the present moment, because I'm gonna look back at these days and be like, girl,
Mhm,
you were so young, you were just getting started.
mhm,
But when you're in the moment, you be thinking like, oh, like I'm so much older. Time has passed me by. Am I where I'm supposed to be? But
mhm,
I think it's just so important to realize like every single thing is for a reason. Like when
mhm,
I think about in my 20s, like I was figuring it out. I was making mistakes. And then now I'm still making mistakes. They might be
mhm,
different mistakes, but it's just like we're still learning. But I think the key is to just always stay the course. Like you might fall off or you might have days where you're not, as productive, but as long as you're still at least every day, every week making a little bit of progress to be
mhm,
better, then you'll be fine. And then know where you're going. Like
mhm,
have your vision, even if it's a 5-year vision, a 1-year vision, like know where you want to be at
Mhm.
least, and then make the steps to get there.
I see what God is doing
Yeah.
because I was just journaling
Yeah.
yesterday about having a vision because
Okay.
I feel like I lack that. Like I don't know like for this podcast, I knew
Yeah.
what I wanted it to look like. I knew
Mhm.
how I wanted it to proceed, how I wanted it to expand. And then I have a really great friend named Nia who's always challenging me. She's like, okay, it's like, what's next? And I'm just
Mhm.
like, you're right. What is next? So it's funny that you say like have that vision because I can have these moments where I'm like, oh, I can do that and I can do that. But it's just like, if I didn't envision myself doing it, how am I
Mhm.
actually going to believe or have faith that I could actually happen? So I think that's really
Yeah.
good that you mentioned that. Yeah, that was
Yeah, shout
good.
out to Nia.
Shout out to
But
Nia.
you do have vision though, because you have a vision for this podcast and you're executing on it. And
Yes.
then
I'm very hard on myself too.
don't be.
I'm very hard on
Yeah.
myself. I think also because I think everything has to be in detail down to the nitty-gritty,
Mhm.
the mission statement, the why and who's going to impact, which I believe all that is important too. But
Mhm.
because I believe everything has to be so intentional, sometimes I just be like, well, just how about just why not? Like
Mhm.
maybe because I just said so. How about just that? But then it's like, yeah, but I can't just because I said so because like I just be
Yeah.
overthinking sometimes, girl. But
Yeah, don't overthink. Do it because you're doing the right things. And then it's okay to check in and be like, okay, I've done this
mhm,
vision, I've done this podcast, but where do I see it going next? Is there another level I can get to? It's
mhm.
nothing wrong with that, but still giving yourself flowers along the
Yes,
journey.
you're right.
Yeah, girl, you're doing
Stop it,
great.
girl.
Look at
Right.
us.
Look at us. Snaps for looking at us. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. Okay, yes, I love this. So, what is some advice going back to, career, media and stuff? So, what is some advice you would give to younger black women that are in college, that are in media communications, that are wanting to be in the entertainment field and the sports field or just, writing and stuff? What is some advice you would give to them?
Yes, I think that for one, y'all have an advantage because, just like when I first graduated, I didn't wait for anybody. I just started, doing PR on my own, getting myself out there, going to businesses, pitching myself. And y'all can do that from your phones, like while you're waiting for your opportunities, or you can practice now. You can get internships, but you can also, create your brand online, show people what you do or what you want to do online. So I think there's an advantage there. Um, and to, kind of like just what we said, know where you're going and know yourself. Get to know yourself, honor your mistakes, and um, once you write down your vision and then you're able to check off the things you've done,
Mhm.
I think that that's just so rewarding because it just gets you to the next level and then the next level.
Mhm.
And then before you know it, you'll look and see you're where you've always wanted to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I'm loving everything you're saying.
Yeah.
um, so yes, so let's just say 2, 5, 10 years down the line, what is your
Mhm.
vision for Black girls in media? And you can also
Yeah.
mention the event that's coming up in the next couple weeks
Yes.
in Charlotte. Yes.
For sure. So I would say the next 2, 5, 10 years is just to improve on everything. So like of course eventually I see myself developing, as a woman, like entering into different phases, like motherhood, childhood, or having a child and all those things. In addition to my career still elevating. And so the things I wrote in 2018, like I'm walking into that like
Mm-hmm.
right now. Like Tasha is the go-to person for women to excel in media careers. Like I literally journaled that years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I journaled how I would look. And so it's just, amazing to see those blessings. So I just see Black Girls Media growing even on a global level. We have a lot of members who are in Africa, London. They're like, "Hey, like you should do stuff here," even Jamaica. So I'm noticing those kind of notes and voices from God, and I'm just like, "Okay, this is a global thing." And then also being able to give more women opportunity to be a part of Black Girls Media, like the team. Of course, I have a team, but to help take over
Mm-hmm.
eventually and like just to make it a whole entity,
Mm-hmm.
an enterprise like that. And just because the point of that is to give other people opportunity.
Mhm.
So yeah, just continuing to grow it, more partnerships, more programs, scholarships. I want to do that in the near future, like next year. Um,
So y'all need to be that's free money. You need to be on the
yes,
lookout for that.
free money.
Yes.
Yes, free money, like scholarships for college, scholarships to join our community. Just more resources. And yeah, that's really where I see us going, and I'm excited, and just
Yes.
new levels.
I'm excited for you. And also, don't forget to
Yeah.
mention your event.
Yes.
Yes,
So
April.
yeah, so we just came off of our conference in New York last year, and we had almost like 500 women in the Midtown New York. It was great, full day panel. Our first conference was in 2022 in Atlanta. So it's
Yes.
really exciting that we create these in person experiences. Companies come to recruit, network. It's a great time. So we're doing a Charlotte event April 13th. So definitely, if you're listening to this, get your tickets right now. They are literally almost gone. But I want to make sure everybody gets a seat in the room because we're gonna have a panel. We're gonna have activations and DJ, food, recruiting, everything. It's. I feel like Charlotte hasn't seen anything like this for creators.
Mhm.
Even if you're not in the media industry, if you're thinking about getting into the media industry, or you're a photographer, graphic designer, publicist, production assistant, musician, if you create content, anything, if you create in general art, this is the space to be. And yeah, I feel like everybody knows our events, Black Girls in Media events, are top notch.
Mhm.
It's they're game changers. Like people always come to me like, yes, I got this job from the event that I went to and XYZ. So definitely you want to be there.
Yes, well, I'm gonna be
She's
there.
gonna be there.
I'm gonna be there.
So
So either be there or hear about it. And if I were you, I
hear
would be
about
there.
it.
Yes,
Exactly. You want
yes,
to be there.
yes. Snaps for April 13th.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I have one fun question I did want to ask you.
Okay.
If you could interview any media personality, well, it doesn't have to be media related, but
hmm
actor, photographer, whoever,
hmm
who would it be and why?
Ooh, Issa Rae. First of
Ah, that's
all,
a great one.
it is because I don't know why we haven't met yet. Oh, I have two actually, Issa and
I
Kiki.
was just literally in my head, I was like, Kiki is my girl.
Yes, and Kiki's my Virgo sis. So if you're watching this,
Okay, Virgo. Issa and Kiki. Come on.
yes, like I want them at a Black Girls in Media event, but then also I would love to, have a conversation with them just because their career trajectories, I think, is the epitome of a Black woman in media.
Mhm.
The way they created their own tables, the way they're consistent with their work,
Mhm.
the way they positively impact Black women and give other women opportunities. I think
Mhm.
like they're amazing.
And their
So yeah.
personalities are amazing.
And the
Like
personalities
it just
too.
truly themselves. Like it just gives so authentic. I love
Yes.
that for them. Yes.
Yeah. Sure.
So for closing thoughts, um, I want you to reflect on your journey and give one key lesson that you have learned. I know you said I know you've given a lot of advice during
Yeah.
this, which I'm taking mental notes. But if there's just one thing that you can really reflect on, it doesn't have to be from too long ago. It could be something recent as well.
Hmm. I would say give grace. Like give grace to yourself for, the things you might not know, the things you might still be learning. Um, give yourself grace to learn those things and to keep moving forward and pressing forward and never giving up. This is personal and career wise. And then also give grace to others because
Mhm.
um, a lot of times I can reflect back into my career, like I might have been like hard on somebody, and that reflects because I'm hard on myself.
Mm.
And so it's just like learning to, give others the space to make mistakes to you or to others, and not be so hard on them, and then give yourself the same treatment in return. And with that, everything is good,
I
you
love
know?
that. Yes. I did, I thought that was the last thing I was gonna say, but
Yes.
it's not. No, I did write something down. I wanted to get your opinion on it. Nothing
Okay.
too crazy, but what is your opinion on the phrase, "Sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do to get where you want to be"?
Um, I definitely agree with that.
Mm.
Yeah. Even if you think about the the times we see the most results is when you
Mhm.
do something you don't want to do. Like
Mm.
with fitness, Lord knows. I'm up and down. But that's the thing. Like I know what I need to do because I've done it
Mhm.
before when it comes to fitness, and I know that what I look like when I'm not doing what I need to do.
Mhm.
So it's just like you have to sacrifice a lot of
Mhm.
things. You have to sacrifice time. You have to sacrifice pain, um, to get where you want to be. And
Mhm.
that the same thing with relationships. Sacrifice. Um, family relationships and dating. Like you need to give up something sometimes to get to where you want to be and to give to others.
Mhm.
Career wise. So yeah, I mean, even starting off like when I was in New York, it was a sacrifice to, be by myself in New York and to
Mhm.
get those experiences. Um, and to, sacrifice food. Sometimes I was broke in New York. Like, but it builds so much character.
Mhm.
And when you're too comfortable, growth can't happen.
Mhm.
Like you have to be uncomfortable to get that growth and to take those chances. So
Mhm.
I think that we're so used to doing soft life and this and that.
Right.
Like
What an era.
we're
Like,
gonna you're gonna soft your
like
life
what? I
out
truly
of your purpose. Like who said it was gonna be easy?
right. Exactly. And honestly, I think that stemmed from like toxic relationships and stuff, honestly. I understood it, but I was like,
And
I'm
even some
okay.
relationships take work. I've learned
Exactly.
that. I've walked away from things because we do have that mentality of like, if it's not serving me XYZ, but it's just like,
Yeah.
yes, and sometimes it
Mm.
might be up to you to put in work. Sometimes it might be up to you to walk away and go to something else.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to, stay plugged into what God is telling you to do. But yeah, you got to put in that work.
Yeah. And I think it's important that you mentioned relationships because I have a really good friend, shout out to Pedro. He just got accepted for a position with the Falcons. And I was like,
Yes.
man,
Congrats,
like
Pedro.
I truly have to stay more in contact with my friends on a career level because I have like
Yeah.
my girls and we can talk and chit chat, have a good time. But however, comma,
Mhm.
I'm there's this want and this like urge to expand my relationships with people on a career level, people that
Mhm.
are much older than me, people that are doing what I see that I know that I want to do. But it's like if I don't open my mouth and say anything, if I'm just stuck in this bubble of, oh, it'll happen and we'll
Mhm.
see what God has planned. Like we can still wait and see what God has planned, but I have to meet halfway at some point
Mhm.
and reach out and network. So I think that was really good that you mentioned that. And even with relationships too now. Like my mom just asked me the other day, she was like, are you okay being single? I said, yes,
Yeah.
I am. I'm in no rush. I'm beautiful, but
Yes.
I'm not in no rush. It will come when it's supposed to come.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not making six figures yet. I'm
Yeah.
not, so I don't got
Yeah.
no time. I
Yeah,
don't have
yeah. You
time.
have plenty of time.
I don't have no time to. I'm sorry, boo boo.
Yes. And when it aligns, you never know what God can do, but as long as, whoever's in your life is helping you, not hurting you, adding to you, not subtracting,
Mm-hmm.
then, it might be somebody that he sends in your life. You never know.
Yes, no rush.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
You
rush,
never know.
God. Yes.
Yeah.
Snaps for this conversation. This is
Yes, this was
amazing, fulfilling.
good.
Yes. Justin, are you snapping? Snap with me. Yes.
This
Yes.
is fun. I love to yap. I love
Yes, me
to,
too. That's
yeah.
why I started the
I know.
podcast.
Yeah. We used to have a podcast, Black Girls in Media. We're gonna bring it back.
Okay.
But yeah, and it's so important what you're doing, like sharing stories of others and that's gonna help you like connect to other
Yes.
people and grow your network while you're still learning. It's
Yes,
great.
thank you. Thank you. Snaps for that.
Yes.
Yes. Love it. Well, thank you again, Miss Tasha, for coming. I have
Yes.
enjoyed this conversation. It was hard for us to get here, y'all. It was hard.
I
It was
know.
hard.
Look, but you keep pushing through.
You keep pushing through. I had someone come on, I think it was CDK. I don't mean to talk mess about your CDK, but he
Uh-huh.
was supposed to be like the third episode, and that was back in like September, October.
Yeah.
His episode just dropped last week.
Yeah.
But I was
See?
like, we here though, and we got it
Exactly.
done. Yes. But
Yes.
yes, thank you again for coming. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you
Yes.
guys for tuning in for another great episode of Beyond the Diploma. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share with your mamas, your daddies, grandma, granddad, uncles, your dogs and cats. And
Yes.
be ready for the next episode.
Yes. And we'll see you
Bye.
April 13th.
April 13th.
Charlotte.
Yes.
Thanks for having me. This is
Yes.
fun.